welcome to the annual performance planning and development meeting. As stated in the name, we'll be discussing our current performance as a team and any developments or improvements that can be made. So I know we all know each other, but I'll just start out with a brief introduction. So this is Sandra, our Senior Finance Officer, Jill, our Accounts Officer in Year 2, Warren, our Accounts Officer in Year 1, and I'm Josie, I'm the Finance Department Manager. I've provided you all with a copy of your outline job descriptions. However, I won't go in depth with these as this is more of an evaluation of our performance as a team overall. So just briefly, our key responsibilities of the team is to process and send invoices to customers, recording the invoices paid, following up on debtors, paying invoices issued by SIM suppliers and creditors, assisting SIM managers to prepare annual expense and revenue budgets, and monitoring SIM's financial position monthly and quarterly. And then with these, producing written reports to the CEO of SIM's financial position, which is monthly and quarterly. So the reason our finance department has recently been under the spotlight is due to a range of issues which we'll hopefully be solving in today's meeting. So a number of suppliers have complained that their invoices had not been paid promptly. Some have refused to supply products or services to SIM unless payment is made in advance. And paying suppliers in advance does not align with our financial management strategies, and the CEO just wants these to be paid on time. So management of invoice payments is undertaken with the help of a financial management software system. And currently, only one member of our team, Jill, has the skills and knowledge to operate this system and to pay the invoices. So now when Jill is absent for work due to leave or illness, our invoices aren't processed until she returns. So this often results in a backlog of invoices, which takes Jill a long time to process, resulting in even more late invoice payments. So the finance department, we're also responsible for assisting SIM department managers to prepare their annual revenue and expenditure budgets. Some managers have complained that the process is not consultative enough. In particular, they've said that the in-depth of knowledge that they have of their department's business activities is not taken into consideration by the finance team when budgets are being prepared, and that the department manager's recommendations are overridden by the finance team's budgetary decisions. So the preparation of budgets in consultation with department managers requires strong negotiation and communication skills. Now, department managers must sign off on the budgets once they are complete, but in the most recent budget cycle preparation, a number have refused to sign off as they do not agree with the forecasts presented in the budget. Now, before I go any further, I'm going to have a brief overview of our SIM employee code of conduct, which we all know, we've all read, but I'm just going to touch on it in this meeting as it's required. So our code of conduct outlines the expected and compulsory behaviours, values and standards to be practiced by all employees. Failure to comply with the employee code of conduct may result in disciplinary action. So our ethical principles, all employees must behave ethically in a manner which demonstrates respect for all people. This includes providing information to colleagues, supervisors, managers and customers and suppliers which is accurate and factual, and reporting in confidence or other commercially sensitive organisational information only as required by law or directed to by the CEO. Now, our performance conduct, employees must fulfil their duties in accordance with their relevant job description to the standards outlined in their individual performance plans, which I've handed out to all of you today. SIM's policies and procedures must be followed at all times. So SIM's resources, including equipment, consumables and information communication technology, such as computers and telephones, must be used only in the conduct of SIM's organisational business. Private use is not permitted without written consent from the CEO. Accountability. So SIM's employees are expected to take responsibility for their own actions and to consider the impact of their actions on the organisation and other individuals in all business activities. Activities which may constitute a potential conflict of interest should be reported to the employee's supervising manager. All employees have a responsibility and duty of care to work safely in a manner which prevents injury or illness to themselves or others. Now, disciplinary action. Employee breaches of the code may result in disciplinary actions include formal warnings. Continued breaches following the initial warning may result in termination of the employee. Termination may also be applied for breaches which result in serious financial risk for the organisation or physical risk to an individual. Does everyone understand our code of conduct?
Yes.
Yes. Any questions?
No, not from me.
No.
Should we maybe display that in our staff room for all our staff members too? So it's
Definitely.
something that they have access to.
Yes. So I'll put an online copy available on our Connect as well as in the staff room as well. Okay. That can easily be done. As well as this, I'll provide a copy of our strategic plan in the staff room, which I've got here, and I'll put it on Connect as well. Moving on to the teamwork allocation plan, teamwork allocation and performance plan. So this plan will go through each individual's responsibilities and contributions to the team, as well as team performance goals and any additional allocated work with learning activities to achieve these. So this is the teamwork allocation and performance plan. This will also be available on Connect. I, however, won't make it accessible for you to see each individual person's, just your own. So keep that in mind. So now the members of our team, we're all here today. So I am the finance team manager, and my responsibilities include managing finance team members to ensure team's key responsibility areas, so our KRAs are met. I'm managing SIM funds, including forecasting cash flows, monitoring expenditure, and ensuring that sufficient funds are available to continue operations. I also communicate with the SIM department managers to provide advice on forecasting and managing departmental expense and revenue budgets. I'll also be monitoring, analysing and reporting on SIM financial position, which is monthly and quarterly, or more frequently if directed to by the CEO. I'll also be developing and presenting written financial reports monthly and quarterly to the CEO, and any other additional duties as directed by the CEO or as required to ensure the finance department's key responsibilities are met. Alright. Now, Jill, I'm going to move on to your roles and responsibility as an accounts officer. So your responsibilities include invoicing customers and clients for services and products rendered, following up on unpaid invoices and accounts, process payments to creditors and suppliers, communicating with department managers to provide advice and assistance in the preparation of annual revenue and expenditure budgets, as well as any other tasks or activity required to meet the finance department KRAs and as directed by the finance department manager. Now, Warren, you and Jill have the same title. However, you're in year one, in your first year, so you won't be expected to have the amount of knowledge as Jill does, but in your kind of training section I have for you, there is a paced online tutorial available to you, so you will be learning a bit more this year. So consider everything I just said to Jill is applicable to you as well. So Sondra, you are our Senior Finance Officer, so your responsibilities are to monitor the expenditure and income of all SIMS departments against set budgets. You're also to assist department managers in the preparation of annual revenue and expenditure budgets, as well as assist the finance department manager by collecting financial data for monthly and quarterly analysis and reporting, as well as any other tasks as required or directed by myself. Now, as for our team performance goals, I've updated these. So these are new, and these are basically what our goals are going to be for the next financial year. So our first goal is to not exceed the expenditure budget of $500,000 per annum, and this includes employee expenses. So our key performance indicators for this is to obviously spend below the budget per annum. And I've got sort of little key indicators, so that'll equate to $41,000 per month or $10,300 per week. Now I've set these slightly lower than maybe by a couple $100, so that if we do exceed the budget slightly, it's going to be okay. Now, any additional support or resources required by the team to meet this goal? Were there any recommendations for support that I could supply to meet this goal?
I think in the payment of our creditors, we could probably use a couple of casuals that we can rotate and use, so Jill is not the only person that can pay out invoices, and then have a couple of people that are responsible for authorising those invoices, like a couple of casuals that can be trained to input the invoicing, and a couple of people that can authorise them, so those people can assure we don't go over our budget or the invoices are not paid before they're actually due.
Okay. So that's...
So we've got more people that can actually use the system, and we don't fall into the same trap of if Jill needs to take some leave,
yeah,
they're not getting paid.
Definitely. So that's a resource. So I'll need to hire some casual staff.
Which I don't, a couple of casuals,
Yeah,
a couple of days a week
definitely.
should not
Yeah.
impact the budget too much.
Yes, definitely. I think so too, especially if they're a year one, they won't be as expensive. Okay. What about, so I'll make sure all the employees are aware of the yearly, monthly and weekly expenditure budgets. So as that week comes by, I'll just set a reminder, you know, this is our budget, make sure we don't exceed that. And I'll also be guiding you to make the right decisions regarding the budget as well. So any resources, which is supplying a readily available information of what we're currently spending compared to the expenditure budget, so we see how on track we are. And that'll be available on Connect. So any additional capabilities required by the team to achieve the goal is basically just knowledge of the expenditure budget and knowledge of where we are in compared to that, as well as the skills to apply this, which we all have the experience and the knowledge. Anything else anyone would like to say about the goal?
No.
Perfect. Wonderful. I'll move on to our second goal, which is to obtain approval from the department managers for annual revenue and expenditure budgets. So before our budgets are approved, our budgets are sent through, they're approved by the department managers. So that's our second goal. Now our key performance indicators for this is to receive 25% more signatures of approval from department managers for expenditure budgets, because at the current minute it is quite low. So I think if we aim for at least a 25% increase in signatures of approval, that's a good start. So is there any support or resources I could help achieve this goal with?
I think to get them all to agree on our budgets and plans, we should meet with them prior to submitting the plan and talk over what their ideas and plans are and sort of hash through it and brainstorm, and so we have more support for our budgets.
So communication with them prior. Yes, definitely. Alright, so yeah, I've also got a couple additional, so the support I've already got down here is allowing enough time for you guys as employees to review and finalise expenditure budgets, so you'll be able to see any little details and review those as well. But I do like that idea of kind of along the way of developing it, you wanted to meet with the department managers sort of thing.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. As well, I've also got myself. I'll review the reports and provide any feedback that maybe I have as well, which will help towards the budget. As well as I'll be supplying available information of the previous year's budget, so that maybe at a particular time of the year it might be different to a couple of weeks ago sort of thing. So it's always good to have a view of last year's budget. Any additional capabilities required by the team to achieve the goal, so basically a knowledge of the expenditure budget, and as well as the skills of communication with the department managers. Any other questions regarding that team performance goal?
No.
No.
Wonderful. Alrighty. So the third performance goal is to process invoices within 14 days of the services or products being provided. I think this is quite achievable. So essentially the key performance indicators of this is just to not exceed the 14 days of outstanding invoices or services or products being provided. What's kind of support do you think, or resources I could provide to help this be more achievable? The casuals?
Yeah, the casuals, yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
a couple of people that can authorise the payments.
Yeah.
Not have the casuals authorise the payment, but have two key people that authorise the invoicing going through, but a couple of casuals to input everything.
Yeah. I've also got here allowing enough time for those employees to process the invoices to be completed on time, because I feel like a lot of it is just sort of put through very quickly and not monitored. So I've got the support of allowing enough time and allowing the additional capabilities required by the team to achieve this goal is knowledge of how to process invoices efficiently and effectively, and the skills and practice to apply this, because you'll get better at it as you go. So that'll be a little bit up to training the new casuals and everything as well. Now I've attached a copy on Connect of the assigned work, task and responsibilities of each member of the team in order to achieve this and the performance standards required. Now, can we think of any anticipated risks that might affect us for achieving our goals? Any risks?
I think our suppliers are not very happy, so we need to smooth over our suppliers
Yes.
a little bit.
So maybe by the suppliers that are currently not very happy with us, maybe we process their invoices first, do you think, or
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
earlier than what,
earlier?
before they're due, but not too early.
Yeah.
In that sense, yeah.
Yeah.
We don't want to go over the budget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Now I've also got another anticipated risk would be maybe losing the trust of our department managers with their approval of the expenditure budget. So I guess the plan to mitigate this risk would be just to have a constant update of what they think the budgets should be compared to us as well, and
Yeah, communications.
Communication,
Yeah, communications with them and yeah. Discuss the budget prior.
yeah, so that it's not quite as much of a shock when you do present them with that budget.
Yep.
Yeah.
Get their
Definitely think
input. Get everyone's input first.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So to sum everything up from today, so I'll just reiterate everything we've talked about. So the team goals to not exceed the expenditure budget of $500,000 per annum, to obtain approval from department managers for annual revenue and expenditure budgets, and to process invoices within 14 days of the services or products being provided. Now I've got all of the capability requirements, so knowledge of expenditure budget, knowledge of how to achieve this, and as well as the skills to apply this. As well, I've got the skills of communicating with department managers. I feel like that's important as well, as well as the time allocated in order to do that. I've also got the capability requirements of knowledge of how to process invoices efficiently and effectively, and as well as skills and practice to apply this, whether that be training sessions or coaching, anything like that. So the learning and development activities that I've got here is to coaching on how to achieve the expenditure budget, whether that be with a bit more senior employees or anything like that, and that'll be done through coaching or mentoring or learning from others, practicing in the working field to gain these skills. Now that'll just be on the job, just practice, job rotation, things like that. The communication of the expenditure budgets will be to all employees, and it's mostly just about the invoicing. I think that's our main issue at the moment, because that's affecting our budget and everything like that. So I've got a lot of training available for the invoices. So there's a lot of formal training available for that. So this will be our final plan, and I'll just need, once you've read through it all, I'll just need a signature from all of you just to say you understand and everything. Now this teamwork allocation and performance plan has been thoroughly cleaned, but it's still open for modification. So if you would like to have any input, maybe you have thought of something after this meeting's finished, please feel free to email myself. And I'd also like to thank you all for attending. I'll have copies of all the documents we've had here today available through online on Connect, as well as in an email on Monday. So thank you everyone for attending.